RMB Internationalization by Farhan Malik. Over the last few years, the Chinese government has undertaken an extensive process to liberalize and internationalize its currency, slowly relaxing rules to become more equal trading partners with other developed countries. This includes expanding the use of the Chinese RMB for global trade settlements. The People's Bank of China is laying the groundwork to have the RMB become a fully convertible currency in a three-step process. First is to use it as a global trade currency. As the RMB develops as a trade currency, businesses outside China are becoming accustomed to using it for payments and receipts for global goods and services. Second is to use it as a global investment currency. The goal is to allow the RMB to be invested more freely. Investors are now able to move their RMB-based holdings cross-border. Global companies want their China-based earnings to be convertible into other currencies. Third is to use it as a global reserve currency. The government wants its currency status to match its position as an economic leader. China would like to challenge the US dollar as a reserve currency. RMB Internationalization. In the past, RMB could only be held inside China, and all of China's internal trade was settled in RMB. Now, trade of goods and services in and out of China can also be settled in RMB. Trade finance methods are available in both onshore and offshore markets. In addition, China's currency can now be held and invested overseas. 50 countries now use the RMB for at least 10% of their trade with China, according to SWIFT, a global financial messaging service provider. The trend is expected to grow as the government continues to relax currency restrictions. To facilitate this cross-border flow, companies outside China can now open RMB accounts both in mainland China and offshore, primarily in Hong Kong but also in other jurisdictions. To help further its goal of internationalization, the People's Bank of China has announced plans to develop Shanghai into a global financial hub and has added new offshore clearing centers in Singapore, Malaysia, and Europe. Negotiations to develop offshore centers in several other countries, including Australia, Canada, and United States, are moving forward. These developments show a commitment by a growing number of countries and regions to increase RMB utilization. Transactions RMB versus the US dollar. With China's changing currency regulations, companies are learning that conducting business in the RMB instead of US dollar could be beneficial. The People's Bank of China has estimated that due to embedded premiums and transactional charges, the administrative cost alone of transacting in US dollars is 2 to 3% higher than dealing in local currency. Since August 2015, an announcement of the People's Bank of China, the RMB has depreciated further and will likely continue to encounter depreciation pressure against the US dollar, especially as the Federal Reserve raises its rate, strengthening the US dollar relative to other currencies, including RMB.